Today, 6th of March, market opened with a gap, but however was not able to hold the gain. Eventually trade off high, up 18.3917 with slightly lower volume. It's trading actually above the all-time high made in October 07 of 3,900. So this is an immediate support, and would like to actually see it trade above that level. Our next support is actually at this previous high here, which is at 3886. Immediate resistance will be at this level here at about 3,950. Trend remain intact. It's just that on a short-term basis, we actually see a weakening momentum. On the weekly charts, it's quite evident 1326 is still very well placed and is diverging. So this appeared to be a temporary pause. I'd like to see eventually take out this recent high here. Let's turn our attentions to the US market. This is S&P 500. Notice actually 3 weeks of pullback. On the daily charts is actually quite evident. We have short-term weakness, and you notice the huge bear bar. It is actually testing the 200 days, and it's important that 200-day SMA hold, otherwise that will be generally negative. So this is at an inflection point at this point in time. However, if you look at the broader markets, NYSE Composite Index represents a 2,000 big cap stock. On the daily charts, you can see we have a retracements, and right now here a bit of a reactions on the upside. But generally, you can see on the weekly chart itself, it's actually just pulling back below the resistance, and this is generally a positive thing. The fact that we see the rejection of low is a positive indications, and we'd like to see eventually take out this high here of 2332. So remember, the long terms remain intact. It's just a short term we have weakness, particularly after the US announced tariff on both allies and foe. So it creates some jittery and nervousness in the market. This is Brent crude. Notice we have a bottoming tail, and on increased volume, and it's bound off. Mentioned previously that actually it is actually mapping out a descending triangle. We may see a bounce from here, and this downward trend lines will offer resistance to any upward move. $70 remains a very important level to watch. In fact, there was a momentary break below that. It is important that this level hold, feeling which we may see for the downside. 10-year Treasury yield has weakened quite significantly after breaking the support, and we do expect a bounce, and this is what we are experiencing right now. The fact that this bounce, unless it's managed to recover above the upward trend line, we are not likely to see a change in the trend characteristics. It remains bearish. The yield is likely to weaken further after this bounce. This is generally positive for the equity market, but on the other hand, it does represent that people are just less confident with the economy, and that may not augur well for the overall sentiment. Let's turn our attentions to our local markets. This is Centurion. After a period of consolidation, in fact there was a break on the downside before you actually break out today. With a wide range bar on increased volume, look for pullback and look for a new setups to go long. Oitech. This stock has a bullish gap, and at the resistance level we notice a pullback. The last two sessions has very low volume. We'd like to see take out this high here of 135. Namcheong. This stock has weakened with this wide range reversal bar. In fact, if you notice, it actually broke the upward trend line, and right now experiencing a throwback, and this is a standard throwback, classic throwback. Notice the volume is not very high. It's a sign of weakness. So the bet is actually off for this stock at the moment. At best it may go sideways, otherwise it may even move down. Propnex is another stock actually that broke the support If you draw a trend line, you actually broke the support, but however it was able to just hang on to it, and this may well be a part of a consolidation patterns. Notice 1326 is actually converging and may cross, so this is a sign of losing momentum, and again is perfectly normal after a run up, and we'd like to see what happens. Usually the sideways move will prefer the volume dry up and eventually look for a sort at this high here, 115. On the weekly charts, perhaps may give you some clarity. Notice actually there is some rejection of the low on several occasions, and obviously this is a high volume resistance, and that is at about 125. So meaning if there's any break on the upside, we shouldn't actually hang on for a bigger profit for the obvious, because of the obvious overhead resistance. Hong Kong Asia, let's talk a bit of erratic actions recently. Notice after a run up, it actually has a gap down. This is perhaps in reactions to the news coming out from CDL, but followed by a strong counter attack, and today managed to actually bash through on increased volume. We can look for a pullback here and look for new setups to go along. Let's take a look at the bank stocks. This is DBS. Gap up. Trading small body. This is pretty obvious here. This gap here is a form of resistance, and in fact it tested today, more likely to pull back from here, and to like to see what happened and eventually take out the high. Mentioned in previous videos that banks are probably better to be traded on the weekly. Notice the rejection of high managed to clear. This is a positive sign, and right now experiencing a pullback. It's just a small deeper setup bar. High here is 46.85. OCBC. Again, notice 1326 well placed. This is a small deeper setup bar. High here at 1793. UOB. After a gap up, it's just trading sideways. This is a small deeper setup. This is a very minor corrections. Look for a break above this recent high here of 39.20. Singtel. We have nice pullback before the resistance level. Last two sessions actually low volume. Look for decisive break above this high here of 343. Semcorp. Now this stock was actually stuck in the trend range for quite a long while. So basically very big swing up and down. And over here we have an ascending triangle that actually break on the downside. So this is actually a head fix on high side. Over here we managed to see a nice break, a wide range bar here. It actually broke. We have very high volume. I managed to follow through, followed by a brief pullback, small dipper and a gap through. Today I actually make a high but then close well, more likely to pull back, and we're good to actually look for a setup here. If you take a look at the weekly charts to give you clarity, so you notice actually the stock actually was actually trading sideways for a long while, and over here making successive higher low. So it's actually indications that perhaps the buyers are right now prepared to pay higher price on every downward swing. And right now we see 3 weeks bars here, very nice run. This is a decisive break. Now remember, this is an area of value, and it's important to see a decisive break away from this cluster of bar, and this is what we are experiencing right now. Look for a pullback, and we can look for a new setup.